Hey, y'all, I'm Shane Sams, the host of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. I'm excited to be back with you today to talk a little bit about memberships, online business, changing your family's future, and to help another member of the Flipped Lifestyle community live on air take their business to the next level. And I'm a little hoarse today. I just want to warn you all because my daughter had a cheerleading competition this weekend. We're in the middle of we're in the middle of it. We're like the end of cheer season, and they're just all packed in every week. So not only am I talking on about 50 podcasts a week, getting interviewed and interviewing our guests and fans and people who come on the show, but I am on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights screaming my head off for my daughter like she's competing for an Olympic gold medal. And man, I love cheerleading. Cheerleading is my absolute favorite youth sport and probably becoming my favorite sport in general. And my daughter absolutely loves it. So when she's up there on stage, we got 3 minutes to get the victory. We got 3 minutes for the trophy, for the banner, and we got to cheer our heads off, man, because the music's loud. So I'm a little hoarse this week, but that is not going to stop me from helping my guest, Jordan Radke. Jordan is a principal up in Washington State, and he has launched an awesome website to help kids who struggle with math because of special needs, who are in special education programs. He has a real heart for these kids, and he's created a website to help teachers and parents who have students with special needs succeed in the math classroom. We had a great conversation about his prices, how he's going to grow his email list, and how he's going to build an audience. Jordan has already gotten 5 people to join his membership, so he has an offer that converts. He's done all the work that we tell you to do in the beginning. Get it out there, get that first member, and then pour gas on the fire. So I'm going to help Jordan overcome some fears today of actually charging for his product and charging more for his product. We're going to talk about launching your full priced membership before you even have all the content done. Newsflash, guys. You don't have to have 10,000 pages of information and 47 videos to launch your membership. I'm going to show you how to do it today and tell you how to convince people to join even when all your stuff isn't finished. And we're going to talk a lot about identity, claiming an identity in the marketplace. You know, if you go back and listen to the first couple of years of the Flip Lifestyle podcast, we were not so into memberships, so into recurring revenue. We were a little more generic, a little more general. And then at a certain point, I made the conscious decision that memberships were the best way that families could really go out and create an amazing income online. And I decided we are going to be the membership people. That's going to be our identity. That's what we do. I wish I'd done it 2 or 3 years sooner, because as soon as you plant your flag in the marketplace, customers come running. So we're going to talk about how to choose your identity, how to establish your identity in the marketplace so that you can grow an amazing membership site. I had a blast talking to Jordan Radke. I'm excited to see what he does next, and I'm pumped that you get to listen in on the call today. So sit back, relax, whatever you're doing out there, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. Super excited to talk to another member of the Flipped Lifestyle community so we can help them take their online dream to the next level and change their family's future. And my guest today is Jordan Radke. What's up, Jordan? How you doing, man?
Hey, Shane, thanks so much for having me. I'm just so excited to be here.
Man, we were talking off air a little bit, guys, before we started the podcast here. But Jordan, right now, if you're watching on YouTube, and you need to be over at fliplifestyle.com/YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go do it. But he's in his camper. He got up this morning at 5 a.m, turned on his camper. That's where he's working, outside in his camper. And I was telling him, man, when I used to work in my van, in my garage when I was building my online business. So it doesn't matter where you do the work. It just matters that you do the work. So Jordan, tell everybody a little bit about you, your background, what you're doing right now for your 9 to 5, and what you're trying to build online.
Yeah, well, thank you. So my name's Jordan. I live in Linden, Washington, which is right up here in the northwest corner of the U.S. And I am currently a school principal. So we've got kinder through 2nd grade at my school. And so we're working through just all the craziness of hybrid school and all that comes with that. So if you're a parent out there, I feel your pain, but that's where I'm at now. Before that, I taught special education for a number of years and worked in both what we would call life skills, where I had my own class of kids, and then also with resource room kids, where we're pushing into classrooms and including kids in classrooms, and kind of working with kids across sixth grade levels, kinder through fifth grade, in all the different classes, So I was just going a million miles an hour in 100 different directions and trying to figure out, how do I provide quality instruction? How do I support teachers in differentiating instruction for kids? And one of my struggles was just the materials, and I happen to love math. That's just one of the areas that I enjoy teaching. And so, I started thinking about, okay, how can I create systems and materials that is going to make this easier for me? And because I found myself just making a lot of my own worksheets and things like that. So I kind of got this idea that, maybe I could create these materials for other people too. So
love it.
That's kind of where my idea came from. And so now I'm working on that. So I'm excited to be here and keep moving on.
What's your domain name? Do you have your domain name set up? What is that?
Yeah. So my website is set4math.com.
Cool. And you create resources for specifically teaching math to special ed students. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the challenges I found was that as I was looking for quality materials, there's a lot of free material out there. And I know that you talk a lot about this on the show. There's always going to be free stuff out there, but
everything you can ever do is free somewhere. Right.
Right. A lot of what I found though was, the sheets would have just way too many words or way too many problems on them. They wouldn't be specific to the skills that I was teaching. There'd just be too much. Kids would just be getting confused or distracted, and when kids get frustrated, then, we don't want to just have them ripping up the page and not learning it. I'm making really, really focused materials, and really trying to curate it in a way where it's easy to find, easy to get to.
A good process, a process for finding these materials so that the right kid gets the right stuff at the right time, basically.
My goal is to put everything you need to teach math intervention or to differentiate right at your fingertips. That's what I'm working towards.
That's amazing, man. I got a buddy named Scott Beebe. He's got a website called My Business on Purpose. He's a great business coach. Just an amazing dude. I love that guy so much. And I wanted to give him a shout out because he said something amazing to me. We were at a live event a couple of weeks ago, and he said, people pay for your process. They don't pay you for your content. They don't pay you because you're so cool. They pay you for the process, right? Yep. The process is the product, is how he said it. And man, I thought that was just such a good thing because honestly, everything you've created is probably free somewhere, but can they find it? Can they find it when they need it? And do they have someone to guide them to it? Like, that's the power of membership. That's the power of community. That's the power of leadership. That's really the power of online business is helping people find the next step. And man, I know, God bless you, dude, because I know special ed teachers work. They're probably the hardest workers in the school. They've definitely got one of the most difficult jobs in the school, and anything that can support them is not only going to help them not go crazy, but also, man, those kids, they really need it. Like, sometimes when a kid's not getting something, you may have a window of a day or two before everybody moves on without them. And people need this in their special ed stuff. Absolutely. And I just have such a heart for those students and those teachers. And so I'm excited to be able to help, in any way that I can. Good deal, man. All right. So you're a teacher, you're creating these resources. Somewhere along the way, you got you an online dream, right? Because I mean, you're a career principal, you're an educator, man. That's an identity, right? But like, what caused this online dream to sprout up out of nowhere? And also, how in the world did you find me and Jocelyn and Flip Flops? How did that happen? Well, I'm excited to share this. So, I think I've always been a little bit entrepreneurial. I can think back to when I was a young kid having a lemonade stand. The funny thing is, now we were on a dead end street, so I don't know what I was thinking. Not like we were going to have a lot of traffic, but my grandpa showed up to buy a cup of lemonade. Now I'm thinking my mom probably put him up to it. But anyways, we the first sale, baby, it still counts. It don't matter. First sale.
So I've had a lot of, ideas over the years, and, I've always wanted to create that freedom for my family. Um, I love my job. Most days we all have hard days, but, I'd like to have that freedom as well. I hug my kids goodbye every morning and they're asking me, why can't you stay here with us? And it's like, oh, someday I hope I can. But, so that's kind of the why, I want to be able to create that freedom and just options for my family. But it was a number of years ago that I started listening actually to the Smart Passive Income podcast with Pat Flynn. And one day I was on there and I heard this guy, Shane, talking about how he made 11 cents online.
I tell that
And
story a time or two wherever I go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I think I was maybe even out mowing my yard or something when I heard it. And you were talking about mowing your yard. It's just this chain reaction. So that got me thinking, well, boy, he's a teacher. If he can do that, maybe I could do something. And then that got me thinking about, what could I do? And so I actually had this idea probably maybe 4 years ago. I mean, it's been a while, and I kind of went through the stages of, well, I'm probably not good enough to do that, or maybe my idea is not good enough. People don't really need it. There's all the free stuff out there, like, kind of the why me, right? And finally, about a year ago, right before COVID, actually, I decided that, I'm just going to go for this. If I never try it, I'll never know. Right. So I started just putting things together, learning all I could. I've been listening to podcasts and just doing a lot of learning all along. And to be honest, I didn't forget about you guys, but you guys kind of fell off the radar for me for a while. I had no idea you were doing the flipped lifestyle, any of that. Until recently here, I heard you again on Pat Flynn's podcast, and that kind of brought me back around to it. And I said, oh, wow, that's cool. There's all the things you're doing with flipped lifestyle. So I looked you guys up and jumped into the membership there and started asking questions, and here I am. So and we can talk more about kind of where my business is at, but I launched February 1st and got a few members, and
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We're moving along.
Hey, man, the best time to have launched that business probably would have been 4 or 5 years ago when you heard it the first time. Hey, but the next best time was today, and you did it, and you got members. So hey, that's where we're at, and that's all anybody can do is take care of where you're at. You can't worry about what you could have done or should have done. You just worry about what you're doing. And that's what we're doing today, man. So how many, so I assume, so how are you creating content? How did you get this email list? It says you've got about 80 people or so on an email list. Yeah. And then it says you got 4 or 5 members when you first launched. So how did you build that following? How did you get that email list? And also imagine 80 people crammed in that little camper with you right now. Like that's a lot of people, dude. That's amazing, right? You built this audience of people who said, let me in the camper with you, Jordan. Right. So tell me how you did that, and how did you launch, and what was your price point and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started, just kind of trying to figure it out. I started putting, probably a month or a couple months before I launched, I started just putting posts into, there's a couple special education groups I'm in on Facebook. There's about 40,000 people there. And so I thought, well, if I just comment, if people are asking about, math materials, I would just comment and say, hey, I'm building this cool stuff, over at my site, and then share my link, and people would go, and I would say, launching soon. And did that for a little while. So started building that list that way. Eventually, I did build a couple of lead magnet type things. One was just a free edition assessment that people can download and use, and that seems to be pretty good. And then just a few other things that I've tried to see, kind of what'll get people interested to, check out. And so I just started building it that way, putting it out there. When I launched on February 1st, so my pricing currently, and this is something I'd love to talk to you about, because I always hear you saying, raise your prices. And so anyways, where I'm at on that is my advertised price is $25 a month or $250 a year. When I launched, I did a 50% off promo for that week. So a few of my members signed up at 50% off. They locked in. And I just sent emails every day to that list. And, day one, nobody. Day two, nobody. I was kind of getting discouraged. Finally, I woke up on day three and I got 2 sales in my inbox. And I thought of you. I'm like, boy, this must have been how Shane feels when he woke up and saw 11 cents.
That's right, man. You found one. You just got to keep swinging. You can bat 300 and still get in the Hall of Fame. You just it's never. I love this. I love that story, but you just told, because you're like, I did it day one, I did it day two, I did it. You were in the market when the market moved, right? Like the stock market, people who make money in the stock market aren't the people who are buying and selling Bitcoin every day or whatever they're doing over there. Right. It's the people who are like, I'm staying in. The market's going to move 5 days this year, but when it does, I'll be ready. And you emailed your list until somebody bought, man. That's amazing.
So I kept that up. And then I actually, once the promo was over, I wanted to honor what I said, that the deeply discounted price was going away. So, but I haven't felt, part of my challenge is that I feel like there's so much content I need to create to really give people everything they need to teach math. And so I just haven't felt like I can put it out there at full price yet. I probably could, but
I've heard our first fear, our first mindset issue, right?
Internal dilemmas. But anyway, so right now I've got it at $15. Still, I put a limited time, still discounted. I haven't changed that yet, but we're quickly heading to more than 1,000 pages. I'm at about 850 pages of content that people.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm stopping you right now. Okay. First of all, I want to go back one step and talk about the way you built the audience, because I think it was genius. Like, you went where your people were and just joined the conversation in a very organic way. And you know what I did when I first grew my audience as football coaches, I had to go where they hung out. Like everybody, all the gurus at the time were like, use Facebook ads, use Google ads, do all these things. And I'm like, no, I know coaches. I know football coaches. They hate Facebook. They love Twitter. So I went to Twitter and I would type in, search for football words that only coaches would be searching for. And I would find hashtags that they use to talk about things like hashtag 4-3 defense. Like nobody's looking that up if they're not a football coach. And I would look, I even typed in the word coach and I would look through people's pictures until I found football coaches, and I would be like, hey, I want to be your friend. And I just organically built our list. Jocelyn did the same thing. She would go to forums where librarians were talking, and she would just drop links to her stuff. And that's how we got our first couple hundred librarian emails. So kudos to you for doing that. And everybody should be doing that strategy in the very beginning. Now let's talk about your price. I'm pretty sure you just said you have 1,000 pages of resources, but you don't feel comfortable. You don't feel comfortable charging full price, which is only $25. That's like a Happy Meal or 3, right? Come on, man. And like, dude, that you got to stop that right now. You're ready to offer full price. Always remember, your people can't consume all that information. They can only teach one thing a day, right? To their students. Most of what they need is probably in there for now. And I know that like history curriculum, if I had, if you're teaching Civil War, you're only going to teach Civil War today. Tomorrow, you're going to teach Spanish American War. The next day, you're going to teach World War I. Like there's a sequence to it. And you feel like, oh, but what if they need to teach the Great Depression, right? And it's not there for them. That's okay. You understand the curriculum. You're probably building it in order. And you can tell people, hey, I'm going to create a release schedule and say, hey, in March, I'm going to do this. In April, I'm going to do this. Create it and charge full price, because they need all the other stuff like right now. Okay. Yeah. So yes, $25 is a fine price. I would keep it there for your first 100 members to help you have a really good entry point. And go ahead and start charging full price. Quit worrying about the monthly discount. Monthly discounts are dangerous. They can destroy a membership. They're only to be used for founders pricing. Okay. But let's get away from that. Now, do you want to offer a quarterly plan or an annual plan? You can still do that. Like the $250 discount, 2 months free. Great for an annual plan. But if you've got the first chapter of the book written, people, then you need to charge full price and then tell them when you're going to write chapters 2 through 10, and everything will be fine. Hey, listen, Jocelyn, when she started charging full price for her membership, was on the month. Like when she charged, she would be like, hey, I'm creating November, join. I'm creating December. And people just came in, and then the expectation was when we got to the next thing, we would be there. Okay. Now, some people will say, I don't want this yet. It's not done. But guess what? Next year it'll be done. So that we'll come back around to them. Just leave them on the list. But yeah, charge full price, man. Quit being afraid of that. Okay. Yeah, man. It's the most common fear. The most common fear.
The one thing I haven't shared on all this, and I guess I should ask your opinion, but so I do have a free level too, where I'm giving away some of my content, mostly the edition type, some of the beginning stuff. And it's not a ton of it, but it's a bit to get people in. I've got about 62 people in there with free, I got 62 free members, and I'm not sure how to get them, moving to the next side. That's one of my big questions. Am I giving away too much free? Because people keep coming and they're signing up. That's another way I've grown that.
You should stop giving away a free level or a free tier.
Okay.
Because you're assuming that everybody's going to come in on the basic stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you should do is you should have a free trial. That's all you need.
Okay.
And that lets people come in where they are, see what they need, and test it, and let it automatically renew. Take it in. Now, so you're going to have to replace the lead magnet situation where you're getting emails from this. You can actually call it a basic package. Don't call it a basic plan. Don't call it a basic membership. If you still want to give away some lesson packs, some samples of all your stuff, that's cool to get a lead magnet. That's awesome. But you don't want to call it a free membership, because then people think they're expecting more. You need to actually say, hey, but you can try the whole thing for free. Like what I do for my U.S. history teacher site, I give a free package away. It's the first lesson of each unit. So you've got a Civil War lesson. Cool. But you don't have the other 10. You've got a World War II. Wherever you are, wherever you join my lead magnet, you're going to have something where you're teaching. If you come in at World War II, you got something. But then you're going to be out of it. Your Monday and Tuesday is going to be amazing. The rest of the week is going to be sucks because you got to go do it again yourself, right? So do something like that. Go through each unit, maybe have an addition thing, have a subtraction thing, have a division thing, just a sample palette that people can pull from. But don't let them in as a free membership. If you're going to do that, make it a free tier, which education, I'm telling you right now, have a free month. People are not going to steal your stuff. They're not going to come in. We've seen dozens of teachers come through our program, and free trials kill it. They just get everybody to come in. They try it. They love it. They're hooked on it. It's like having your own personal lesson plan library, and they just get to come in and get what they need each day. And teachers absolutely love that. So you're doing the right thing, just in the wrong order. Create a free B. Do not create a free tier, and then use a free trial to get people in easy for your membership. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes great sense. And actually, I've seen a little bit of success with that because I've been listening to you again on the trial, stuff lately. And so I tried a free trial here, and for everything, not just the stuff that I was offering free. And I had about 3, maybe 4 more sign up here in the last week under that free trial. And I'm just waiting to see how many stick around. I'm trying to just serve them like crazy. So
I can step back from a 10,000 foot view here, Jordan. I can see exactly what you need to do next. Okay. What I'm hearing is you have an offer that converts. You have a list that's a budding list of 80 or so people. And every time you make some variation on the offer, people are jumping in. Okay. What you need to shift your focus on is, one, yes, you're going to make the content. Just set up a content plan. You're going to make it however fast you can make it, and don't worry about that. Set a date that you're going to be done a year from now and be done with it. But you got to grow that list. You got to grow an audience. That's where all of your sales are going to come from. It's if you want more fruit on an apple tree, you don't go up and rub the apples, and you don't go up and clean the branch. You might want to take care of the trunk so the tree don't fall down in a windstorm, and you want good, strong roots. But what you really need is soil. You got to take care of your soil. You got to put water and nutrients in the soil, and water and nutrients, the soil of all of our memberships is our audience. And how are we building that? So how are you creating content right now? And what is your content schedule? And how are you thinking about man, I got to have my own audience, not these Facebook groups. I got to have my own email list. How am I going to get more people on my list? That's your next step. But what are you doing right now for audience growth?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And that's something I've been struggling a little bit with, honestly, because really when I think of the product that was the original idea was really just, here are the teaching material. But as I've been listening to you and others, I realized like I really need to be building that community aspect and really, serving that audience more too. And so I've been just trying to figure out the best ways to do that. I've started weekly so far, just offering what I call a Monday Math Minute. So I've been putting a little video, and I've been putting that out currently just to all my social media and to the list. And people have been really enjoying those. I've been a few blog posts type things that I've been putting out there. I definitely sharing news about what we're working on. I'm trying to do some more writing. What I've been pondering and thinking about doing next is, figuring out what kind of live event could I do? Like you talk a lot about members calls and things, and this is probably fear number 2, but with such a small list of members, I'm worried if I set up a member call, I'm only going to have, one or nobody show up from my 7 people. So I've been debating that and just thinking about where to go next.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you this. Let's back up even one more step. Okay. Who do you want to be in this community? I know what you want to do. I know that you want to serve these people, and I know that, but like I made a conscious choice a few years ago that I wanted to be known as a family man who helps people start membership sites. That was a conscious decision. When I go on, I want to inspire, I want to get riled up and fired up and entertain. And I know I say silly things all the time with a funny accent. That's cool. That's who I am. But I made a conscious decision of who I wanted to be in this space. And now I wear a shirt that says Membership Masters. I talk about memberships. If you want to talk to me about anything else, I'll talk about it, but make no mistake, we're coming back around to the old membership game. And like, you got to decide who you want to be. I think you don't have no clarity right now. And that's what it is. So like in the community of education, if you could be a known person and someone said, I go to Jordan for this, what is this? Tell me that.
Yeah, no, that's a big question. I think, if I could be in this community, the role of, if you're needing to differentiate or teach math to a student with special needs or someone who's struggling in math, I go to Jordan. He's got the ideas, he's got the materials, he knows how to do it, and he can teach us how to do it. So
stop right there. So I know that you have resources. I know that you have math worksheets. I know you have printables. I know you have this. I know you have that. But by gosh, every word publicly that you speak better have this. Every sentence better have the word math differentiation in it. It better say it. And you've got to, and that's all you talk about. That's it. Like you write blog posts consistently about differentiation, and you talk about it like, all right, if I'm teaching a regular class, this, I'm teaching my differentiated student this. You get on Twitter, on Sat Chat, and all these education chat channels, and you say, hey, let's talk math differentiation. Learned a great tip this week. Want to share it with everybody, right? You want to go on your website and like every day, like if you got 1,000 worksheets, give away 365 and just do it every year. And like have a hey, this is a worksheet. This is why I did this. This is how you differentiate it. And you become the guy. Like it's Jordan differentiation. Like that's your last name is irrelevant. It's just, that's what people think about. Like Shane Sam's memberships. That's what people think about when they talk about me. And what that will do is it gives you a great piece of clarity. You can now talk about like the mindset of differentiated. Like, how do you handle when a kid's not getting it? How do you handle the stress of having to teach a kid a concept and you're not sure if he or she's going to get it, right? And that's all you do. Now you can say, well, here's what I talk about publicly. Here's what I do privately. So all I got to do is blog consistently, share prolifically, and relentlessly ask people to sign up on my email list at that point. That's your content guide. That's your railroad track for content to allow you to become that person. So here now, the next question I would say is like, if you become that person, what happens? Well, now when people I'm having people reach out to me that I probably got no business talking to, like because they know I'm the membership guy, right? Like I had an 8-figure guy reach out to me on Facebook the other day, who's done amazing things in online business. He's trying to grow his membership and he's stuck, and he knows I've seen a lot of them. So guess what? He came to me. You will become the person where it's like, man, if I need math differentiation, maybe you're number one in Google for math differentiation. Maybe when someone types that in to Twitter, you come up first and you become that person. So deciding who you want to be in the marketplace is the first step to becoming a great content creator that draws in attention and creates an audience for you to do that. Okay. And I heard you say something else. I've created a couple blog posts, right? Like, what is your consistent content plan to dominate the market and make you Jordan, the guy who teaches math differentiation? What is that?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm missing right now, to be honest. I got to put that together. So yeah, I got to get that on the schedule, start getting that content out. I think I really like what you said about the identity and really narrowing that down, because part of what's got me stuck is I've got so much up here and just thinking about how to distill that into what is my message, so really thinking about, okay, differentiation and just laser focused on that, I think will really help me to curate that material, that content, and just align it in a way that's really going to help my audience.
And what we do in our business, like people I think people think they see when you have a team, and you all see like all the stuff we do in the community and the forums and the courses and the Q&As and all that stuff, right? But honestly, like our business is much simpler than that. Like we record a podcast where we help our members take their next step. That's the first thing we do. We record a second podcast where I interview experts to help our audience take their next steps, right? We offer a free trial into our membership, and we run our membership. How do we do it? Just like we tell you to do it, with content, with a community, and with leadership. So like that's the whole business. And we decided like those are the only things that matter, because that's what grows our business. Like how do we grow audience? Okay. Well, we create content, we guest on other people's shows, and we run Facebook ads. That's it. That's all we're focused on right now. And we have created our entire business by saying no to everything else, not just choosing those things, right? So everyone has to decide, how do I create audience? Well, content's always a part of that, right? So what kind of content do you create? How do I get people on the email list? You need like 1 or 2 lead magnets, people, and just focus on them, okay? How do I get people to join my membership? Well, from our earlier discussion, it's probably a free trial and emailing them every day. That's it. Now, are there other things? Yeah, you got to finish out your content area, right? But that's okay. You're setting the arbitrary deadline for that. It's not like you have to get it done by next year or the year after. Just pick a date and work backwards and make all the content. Okay. 1 thing a week until it's done. How about that? It'll be done eventually. Okay. And then where do you make the time for your content? How do you connect with other people in your space? Like, dude, you think there's not education podcasts right now that would love to talk to a principal who's went through COVID and helped their special ed students stay on track and move forward and knows math? And like, yeah, man, all you got to do is reach out and ask people to be on their show. Okay. So ask those questions. How do I create audience? No more than 3 things. How do I get the audience onto my email list? No more than 3 things. How do I serve my members? Content, community, leadership. How do I deliver those things? That's it. You got 9 things you got to figure out, people, and you got a whole online business. But the hard part is buckling down and staying focused, right? It's like, and schools are terrible for this. You notorious administrators. I'm going to fight back on you a little bit here. But like you know how at the beginning of the year, everybody's fired up about this new abbreviation thing that the school districts bought, and everybody's pumped, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do it forever, and it's going to change the world. And by about, I don't know, February, nobody's doing it, right? That's human nature. And we do it in our business. You got to commit to like the next year of my life. I'm doing this. I'm doing these 9 things, man. And I'm not stopping until this thing works. So that's the key, is picking what you want to do at the beginning. So you will stick with it in the beginning. And it's not just like forced on you because Shane said so, or the principal said so, or the superintendent said so. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're right about that. We get tired around February in schools.
Yeah. I did it for 10 years, bro. I'm still tired.
You've done it.
I still remember tired from the last year I was in it. I was 2013. I'm still fatigued a little bit, man, from that. But all right. So we've talked about a lot today. Let's come back around. And, I think the most important thing I want to tell you, Jordan, is you got an offer that's converted, and it's converted more than once. And that's a really good sign. You just got to find more people to see the offer. So based on what we've talked about today, like, what do you think the next step is? Where do you think you need to be spending your time, like over the next 2 or 3 weeks, to really start the ball moving forward and getting more members?
Well, I think where I'm going next is I'm going to confidently step forward and put my price at what it should be. So we're going to go up to the 25, and I'm going to figure out kind of a promotion schedule with that. I'll probably look at, again, I went through the trainings and things in the blueprint with the how to do the trials and the quarterly and everything. So I'll probably look at that. I'm going to solidify my content schedule and really get clear on that, and just really keep continuing to get out there and share my message, especially around differentiation. That's going to be in everything that I talk about, everything that I put out there.
Embrace.
So I'm going to grab onto that.
Yes, embrace it,
embrace the identity.
Yeah, man.
So,
and I want to recommend a book to you too, The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. As you're planning your content schedule and as you're planning like all these things, we've really went down this rabbit hole in our business, and it's been really beneficial to think things through. And I'm actually interviewing Brian on Membership Masters pretty soon, and but I think that book could really help you, like, to read the book, go through the book. There's a workbook you can buy with it too, which is really cool. And just use that to start thinking in chunks, especially as you're moving toward the end of the year and you're about to have some summertime, right, where you got a little extra room. It'll probably help you structure these questions better. Like, how do I establish that I'm the math differentiating guy? How do I get my content done? And how do I make these promotions regularly to grow the audience, to grow the list, to grow the membership? Okay. So check that book out. And it's good stuff. Hey, man, thank you so much for getting up early today, bro. And like going out in your camper and turning the heat on and hanging out with me, dude. I really appreciate you guys. I love our members so much. And man, I'm excited to see what happens next, because I can tell you're already a guy that's going to go get it. So, and I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, this has just been awesome. You're right. I'm a go-getter. I can't seem to stop myself. So I'm going to keep, I'll keep going on here. We'll get it. And I just, thank you for helping me out. These are great next steps. So I'm excited to keep going.
All right, guys, that wraps up my coaching call with Jordan Radke. Man, he is a hustler. He is a go-getter, and he is out there doing it the right way. He joined the Flipped Lifestyle community. He got into the blueprint. He came up with his idea. He created his minimum viable product. He put it out there to the world. Didn't care how big his list was. And look, he got members. He got confirmation. He got people voting with their wallets that he had a good idea. And now he knows to move forward. Now he knows to go out and create that strong brand identity. Now he knows that he's going to go out and get more members. All he's got to do is grow that audience. And now he's in the phases of the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint that are going to help him do just that. We would love to help you start, build, launch, and grow your own online business too. You can join the Flipped Lifestyle community for free right now over at flippedlifestyle.com/free. You can get access to all of the amazing trainings that Jordan has used to build his membership site. You'll get access to our community forums, our member calls, and all of the other amazing resources that we have in place to help our members start, build, and grow an online business that can change their family's future. We want you to have total control of your finances. We want you to have total control of your time. We want you to be able to make a great living on the internet. After all you need is 100 people to pay you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year. Heck, if you get 200, that's $120K. All that and more is possible when you start a membership site. Well, don't wait. You've been listening to the podcast for a while, or maybe it's the first time that you've ever tuned in. But for the next 30 days, you can try everything we have over at fliplifestyle.com/free. Start your journey today. All right, guys, got one more thing before I go. I want to share a little can't miss moment with you. These can't miss moments are things that we get to experience that we may not have experienced if we were still working those 9-to-5 jobs for somebody else. These can't miss moments are things that are only possible when you're an online entrepreneur and you've got total control of your time. And my can't miss moment today is 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. And I'll tell you why it's 3 o'clock. You know, one of the things that we do in our business is we really, really work hard to not work when the kids are home from school. At 3 o'clock, I go pick the kids up at the bus stop. Well, it's not really the bus stop. It's like the pickup line, because we live in a real small town, so everybody kind of picks up their kid. And I go get in the pickup line. I wait in line. I pick up Isaac and Anna Joe. And then we rotate what we get to do with the kids. You know, sometimes one kid will have practice, and maybe Jocelyn will take Anna to practice while I hang out with Isaac. And sometimes I'll take Anna to practice or hang out with Isaac, vice versa. Well, the other day at 3 o'clock, had a great experience. Took Anna Joe home. Isaac had somewhere to go. He had one of his practices. So Jocelyn went with Isaac to watch him and take care of him. And me and Anna Joe, just right in the middle of the day, got to sit down and play the game of life from start to finish. You know, the old board game from the 80s. You know, you can be a winner at the game of life. Y'all remember that, right? I'm singing to you today on the podcast. Man, we had a blast. I mean, we were going through, and I couldn't remember how to play. And I was at that fork in the road where it was like, do you want a family or the career path? And I was like, I bet the career path will give me more money, which will let me win at the end. So I took the career path, and Anna Jo goes, ha! And I go, what? She goes, every kid's worth $100,000 at the end. I went, no, you tricked me. Like, we had a blast. We just sat there for like 90 minutes and had a great time playing a board game right in the middle of the day. And, you know, I was thinking back, if that had been when I was working 9 to 5, I'd have been at work. I'd have been at my job. She'd have probably been with a babysitter. And I was just so thankful for 3 o'clock, so thankful to have time to play board games in the middle of the week, in the middle of the afternoon. And that's my can't miss moment for this week. Remember, we share those to inspire you to go out and create an online business that will let you have more can't miss moments with your family as well. All right, guys, we are about out of time on this episode of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. But before we go, I love to share a Bible verse at the end of every episode of the podcast. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation in our marriage, in our parenting, in our business, in our life from the Bible. There is so much great stuff in there that can help you take it to the next level. And I'm excited today because Jordan has a Bible verse that means a lot to him, and he's going to share it with you guys today. So Jordan, take it away.
Thank you, Shane. The verse I wanted to share today is a promise that we get from Proverbs 16:3, and it just says, commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. And to me, that just means if we're doing this all for him and his glory, we can't go wrong. So that really was something special for me.
All right, y'all, we are out of time for today. Thank you so much for listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast every single week. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your podcast player of choice. Make sure you go leave us a 5-star review. Really helps the algorithm to show the podcast to more people so that we can help more families change their future. And hey, if you know someone that would love to listen to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, please share the show with them. There is no better way to spread our message of hope and family and entrepreneurship than word of mouth. We appreciate you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Until then, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.
I don't have a great home office, so I set up my camper out here.
That's amazing. Hey, man, I used to record my podcast in my garage. I used to work in my garage in my car when we first started our business because I had 2 kids, no office space, and I would go sit in our van and I would record podcasts, do all my sales pages. I'd get in the I would lay down the back seats and just throw a blanket in there, and I would just lay on my stomach and I'd work. That's what I did, awesome. Man. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcast. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.